Himalayas, and do you remember his friend came to visit him? And they went for a long walk, maybe for about 2 to 3 hours. And his friend, looking at the valley, said, "How beautiful it is." But the master did not speak anything. He returned and he said to his friend, "You talk too much. It is better to go back home." My eyes are also looking that, the valley is beautiful. What is the fun of saying that? And he spoke only one sentence. You see that once we realize inside, we know the power of meditation. So that is what you both did. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That is what happens in once we have a right knowledge. That is very important.
Well, we
Right
appreciate you.
knowledge. Uh,
I said we appreciate you.
it's all knowledge coming from our teachers. Knowledge is there. So once we reach to that step, then let us live in the world. Let people know or do not know, who cares? It is not important that the people should know. Now see that, oh, we should earn more money. We'll talk about Terry. So, hello, Terry has come. Very good. So you see that I'm in a hurry to, for example, to have money. No doubt we need money. I'm being supported by you guys, so I don't say anything. So, but we need it, no doubt about it. But now see that if the money becomes our goal of life, and we know the money cannot buy happiness, but still the goal is the money, our goal is the sexual pleasure, our goal is something outside. So, where the mind will go back again and again? To the money, to the pleasure. So, that is what our master says, that it is not the right knowledge. The right knowledge should be the goal of life is to find my real self and do whatever you want to do outside. So, so what happens? That is why Master says that we should remember, we should understand the goal of life, we should constantly follow until we reach to the goal. So, what is that goal? You wake up in the morning and the word appears but not true. It is settled in that knowledge of the real self. You are communicating, thinking, speaking, working in day to day life, even driving your car, but you are settled there. You are settled there. So until then, we have to continue our journey. But it's a beautiful, that is the right way. Both Stephen and Sam did. That is beautiful. Terry, keep smiling. Yes. So, anyone wants to share their experiences. So, we have to live into that state. And it is 100% possible. It is possible once we have a clarity, once we have the right knowledge, then we live and work from that state. This is what the journey of Eastern wisdom is. Leaving aside all the rituals and the rites associated with it, we don't need that in the modern age. We don't need that. In those days, people were uh, not actually aware of, and their intellect was not developed. So the intellect was not developed. So then master says, okay, follow this ritual. And there are thousands of rituals that also helps us to raise the awareness. So we will start. This is a beautiful verse again. So it says, Atma Agyanat Jagata. Atma Agyanat Jagata. When I'm not aware of the real self due to the ignorance, then this word appears true. And when I know real self, I am settled in the real self, then this word appears not true. This is the worst, and then we will, like when I see the snake in the rope, because I'm in ignorance, I don't know. Is there a rope? No, but it appears as a snake. But when I know, then it is only a rope. There is no fear. Now see how to understand this. First point, mind lives in many states that we all are aware. We are not discussing, in Buddhism, we say it is the mind that creates the world, and when the mind calms down, that world disappears. So we are not talking of that. We are simply talking a very simple thing. Then in deep sleep, the world outside disappears. In waking and dream, the world appears. That is a very common experience, see that. And in samadhi or in meditation, the mind lives in purified and empty state. See the three points. I am in deep sleep. There is no world. That means the world outside disappears. In a waking state, the world reappears. What happens in meditation? Once we are awakened, the world now appears, but I know it is not true. It is not true. Again, I'm repeating and be clear. In deep sleep, there is no world. And what is that world? That world of relationship, of possessions, of wealth, of lot of desires, lot of anxiety, duality, and conflict. Everything is gone in deep sleep. So it means the world disappears in sleep, the world reappears in the waking and the dream state. Now ask the question, where this world appears. It happens in the mind. It happens in the mind. My eyes are open and I'm seeing you guys. There is a monitor behind, and then I'm sitting in the room. The entire world, you see that? The entire world appears in the waking and the waking state. The same world is not there in the sleep. Just see, become aware. Yes, it is not in the sleep. It is there in the waking state. it means it is the problem of the mind or it is the working of the mind. So, whatever Master says, those people who have a wandering and distracting mind, the world and its many relations are seen in the mind: love, hate, pain, pleasure. Because the mind is constantly flickering, wandering from one thought to the other, from one object to the other. So there is a continuity. In that state of the mind says, yes, how can you say the world is not true? So it is happening because of the wandering and the distracted state of the mind. Why it is wandering? Because it has a level of attachment, love, and hate relationship at every moment. Oh, here is David. I love. Here is Sam. Here is Teddy. You see that the moment we address that world of relationship appears in many multifold relationship of love, hate, anxiety, pain, pleasure. So the whatever Master says, empty the mind. Now you link that. When you empty the mind, what happens? You see that this world only appears. When you empty the mind, what happens then? All relationship is gone. No father, no mother, no honey, no money, no mine, no me, no mine. We realize our true nature. This is what the Master is saying. Atma agyanat jagata bhati. The world appears when I'm not aware of my real self. The mind comes in between. Mind says, look at the world. This is very real. And the moment I know my real nature, that real self passing through the mind tells the mind, come on, it is because of you, not because of me. Are you getting it? It is because of you, mind, not because of me. Do you see that? Same thing, same example. I used to say the sky is not blue. Water is not the waves. The water is not in the mirage. You see that ignorance is gone when I approach the mirage and when I want to discover whether the water is there or not. Now my mind says there is no water in the mirage. The waves in reality is water. The world outside is actually the real self. The way the water is hidden in the waves, same way these waves are behind the waves, there is only water. This is what the Master says. Even take from the scientific perspective. What is that scientific perspective? Is it wall? Is it solid? Yes, definitely. Is a glass of water is also a matter. And the air present in this is also a matter. But why I see the difference? I see the difference because the atoms are very close to each other in solid. At a little distance in the water, too far in the gas or the air. Atom is the same. Essential element, that is atom, is the same. So, when I see the solid, is it a delusion? Ask yourself. It is only the configuration of these atoms. Now look at the atom. We say atom consists of many particles, electron, proton, and neutron. And the recent update says that these atoms, these electrons behaves like the wave. And they have come up with the update in the physics that everything is nothing but energy. only energy. I read somewhere, I forgot the name of that biologist. Uh, he's an American. 10 years ago, he said that, the way we say in physics that everything is electromagnetic waves. So he says that my right hand and the left hand differ. It is because of the different movement, two separate movement of electromagnetic waves in these two arms. There is no difference. So they have found one common element, that is energy. We went a step further. Energy cannot be conscious of itself. So who becomes conscious of that energy? I. Who is that I? That is real self. That is real self. See that? So again, just go back to the same thing. Mind makes this world appear, the same mind makes this world disappear. I have to find out what is behind that mind. So the master answers, in ignorance I see this world as real, in wisdom I see the real self as the real. Go back again and again and reflect. There is another way of contemplation and reflection, that in a waking state, think, contemplate, imagine a state of the mind during deep sleep. Just see what happens in deep sleep. What happens? This entire world of love, hate, of relationship, of money and honey, everything is absent in that deep sleep. Mind, can you imagine the deep sleep? You are awake, your imagination. Now the world disappeared completely. You are still awake. You are still awake. So you are living into that state of awareness and attention, and there is nothing in the mind. Oh, that is what Buddha says, emptiness. That is what Patanjali is saying. Emptying the state of the empty state of the mind reveals our true nature. So where the I, my, me, he, she, it all disappears. All disappears. So you see that we do not disappear. It is only the world outside that appear and disappear. In deep sleep, not there. In waking state, it is there. Let me separate itself from the world. How? When I move into the empty state of the mind. Empty state of the mind. And that takes us to the highest state of meditation. And that is why, if you look at it again, then he gives another example, that in a rope I see the snake. Is the snake present in the rope? No. Snake is not present in the rope. But I see it. It appears true. Same thing our master says, all our sorrow and pain, duality and a conflict, and all our relations appear in ignorance. When that ignorance is gone, we live into that state of permanent peace and happiness. You see that focus on their mind. That's why the master says, when the mind is wandering, distracted because of the desire, because of the attachment and detachment, because of the division and the duality, this mind is constantly engaged in the world and claims it is true. It is true. So the result is that if I make my mind clear, empty it, then what happens? Then I see that real self appears, huh? And that real self enters into the mind. That it gives me that reality check. Even here and now, become aware. It is the eyes that makes me aware of the form and the color. The ears makes me aware of the different sounds. But ears, I cannot see the name and the form. Eyes, I cannot feel and listen to the sound. The two are totally separate. They are totally apart. And still, the mind says, come on, I will build the relationship to make you see the world. See that? The mind behind associates with all the sense organs, with its various objects, and that creates, and then the mind creates a relationship because the mind is always in hurry. Mind is always in worry. And what we are doing when this mind calms down in the state of dispassion, we see that real self here and now. This is what this master is saying. So, what we are learning how a higher and the deeper meditation leads me to variety of experiences, variety of these experiences. So, this seeker gives us a clue, an idea, an understanding. When I'm the highest level of a seeker, you see what this highest level of seeker says, what is his experience as he spoke to the master. How wonderful! I am tranquil now, taintless, pure knowledge, transcending the matter. Until now, I have been deceived by illusion. That was his first experience. So, as we continue the journey, we will find, oh, this is what my experience is. Huh? In the last week, what we did, that of the sweetness of a sugar produced from the sugarcane juice, utterly permeating all of the juice distilled from the sugarcane. I, as the real self, is present everywhere. Do I have a living experience that I am present everywhere? Look at the deeper experiences. He is not talking what color I see, what god and goddesses that I see. No, no. He is not talking of that. So look at the understanding of the higher level of a seeker. Just as the cloth has only the thread, we understood in the fifth experience, the same, this existence is woven from being. From being. Return again, focus on only one thing. Pay your attention on one thing. My eyes are closed and I'm in deep sleep. There is no word. I wake up, my eyes are open, all the sense organs are active. I see this world. So, what is the missing point? The missing point is simply the ignorance. What is that ignorance? What appears true is not true. I do not see that. So when I see that, how do I see that? I see it through my awareness. So where the awareness lies? In the mind. Is the mind a perfect instrument to reach to that state of meditation? Yes, if it is empty. No, if it is constantly wandering. So the Master says we can achieve that state here and now without understanding, without practice. So why he says without practice? Can I settle my knowledge in the mind at the highest level? And if that is possible, then we can enter into that state. So let us start our practice. Let us start our practice.